reflect ki how much we have done and what were the struggles of last week for us. And then let's see, okay, how we can make our time more useful and our weeks more valuable. Okay. So one primary focus of today's workshop is going to be to do the planning for this week and reviewing the last week activities. Okay. And wherever we find ki there is a scope of improvement, so we need to do that in ourselves. Okay. So that's what is one aim. And the second aim of today's session is to talk about some best practices of how projects happen. Okay. So we are going to discuss about Agile as part of today. And even for working professionals, these insights will be the key checkpoints which you need to really make sure as you are going through the project related life cycle. Okay. So all the working professionals, whatever Agile checkpoints we will do, I will give you some written checklists as well, so that right from tomorrow in your work, start implementing that. You will get a better results out of your life. That is one important thing. And with regards to, let's say, those who will be claiming maybe who are working in industry, but not getting proper projects to put hands on, and already your just experience on paper is growing, not really knowledge. So for those guys also, today's session is really going to be useful. So that is second. Third is anybody who is claiming that we have worked, but did not really get that exposure due to whatever reasons, maybe gap or something. So for them also, this is very important, because how you take your technology and work in the project and deliver it in production, that understanding is really very important. Okay. And even for fresher job seekers, if you say that you already know these things, which we will talk today, if you speak in interview, okay, some of my friends are already working in the industry, I discussed okay, how the project happens in the companies, and whatever we discussed today, if you showcase that somehow during your interview phase, it will give a very positive impression ki bhai, you are dedicated to learn, explore, and even understand how the things happen in industry. It will create a very positive impression. Okay. So that's what is going to be target of today's session. Now, first half, let's talk about this Agile related activity itself, project management, Agile, and what is your role in this full phase. What are you supposed to do at multiple stages? We'll discuss about that. And in the second half of today's session, let's do the weekly planning for both job seeker activities as well as working professional activities. Okay. Now, weekly planning, that's it. A lot of introduction done. Let's get down with the game. Okay, so everybody be focused. If you're hanging around here and there, please sit down. This is like your career changing stuff. So don't do like be here. Okay, chalo. Yes, make notes about it. Take running notes about all that. I'll share my screen and even show it a few things to you guys. Plus the session is available in YouTube as well. I'll share the link later, but gain maximum value. This is where I'm trying to take this thing out. Okay, so chalo, I'm sharing my screen one by one. Let's get down with the game. Everybody. Chalo. So all of you ready for action? Ready for action, everybody. Put some things in chat if you're ready for gearing up for day. People. Chalo, Krishna is ready. Abhishek ready. Okay, and Umer, Uddhav, Shenu, Vaishnavi, Sahil. Chalo, let's gear up. Sushmita, Golu. Awesome. Okay, and here comes the screen share. Chalo, let's go. Okay, basically, guys, Agile. We will not be doing theoretical definitions here or theory knowledge for only Rattu Pattu types. No, we are going to speak about practical stuff. And key to the point, the knowledge which is going to be useful for you. Okay? Just like that. Okay, so chalo, let's get started. Now guys, dekho, any industry you go, any project you take, there is going to be a way of working in the project, which is simply called as software development lifecycle or project lifecycle. Life cycle means right from beginning till the end, what all happens when you are developing a software or whenever you're doing a project development. So this is what is called as software development life cycle. Okay? Now, whatever you heard in your college time as part of your syllabus, you might have a lot of models, and maybe some of your syllabus might also include Agile. So can you just comment it in chat, like how many of you have heard or have some knowledge about Agile? be it you're a job seeker or working. If you're available, if you're aware, just put it in chat. How many of you are knowing Agile? Just say I or like, okay. Someone says just heard. Okay, yes. Put it. If you're not aware, just say not aware. Okay. Everyone. Okay. If you're not aware, just say not aware. Okay. There are a few saying not. There are a few saying yes. It's a split. Okay. Now, let me tell you a few things. First of all, Agile is not something new in the market. Okay. It is there in the industry since the year 2000. That means it's already 23 years old. The beginning days of Agile was in the beginning of 2000s, early phases. However, it took a lot of time for industry to adapt to Agile. The way it happens for many new things, people hesitate to go to that. But I remember right from the beginning of my career, which is 2010 onwards, the projects are like every project that I work is on Agile only. So you can understand 13 years of experience. I worked only for 6 months or 1 year for a waterfall model. But after that, it was always Agile. So majority of my career is Agile. In my career, I felt that there was around a company having 900 to 1,000 employees. In front of my eyes, that company was previously working in a waterfall model. And in front of my eyes, they trained the entire company to start using Agile for software development. And guys, training takes time, cost and everything. Still, company made a decision. 1,000 employee company made a decision to train everyone on Agile and start using that. So you should already be aware ki, and that happened long time ago. And since past 13 years, I am using Agile. So now Agile is basic and everybody should know what it is and how to work in an Agile environment. Because right from your day one, there is a high chance that the project that you get into will also have Agile. Okay, so be aware because all these things are really required and on a day-to-day basis. Okay, okay, so chalo. So Agile is way of developing a software. Okay, process, interactions, tools, when to do what, right from the beginning, start till the end. So, okay. So what is start? Start is like requirements. When the functionality comes, I have to like, you have to build, if you're a technical team, a requirement comes to you, build this feature or functionality or a project. And then you go through a long chain of activities. And finally, you deploy this thing into production, right? Prod launch. Okay. Now, this full activities from requirement to prod launch, how to do it in a project, that simply is nothing but software development lifecycle. And we are going to discuss how in Agile, we actually do the project development. Okay. Now, simple. And let me not get into theoretical comparisons of waterfall versus Agile because it's all available on internet. Let's stick to the point. Just as a conclusion, take it. There were a lot of problems with the older model of software development. Teams were confused and unhappy. Even customers who is paying for the projects, they were also confused and unhappy. And if teams and the customers are complaining, the company is also unhappy. So there were a lot of problems with that. Agile actually removes everything of it. Okay? And it is a solution. Now, guys, there are 3 people involved in project development. One is tech team. You guys will all be part of tech team. Second, there is client who gives the requirement. Third is company where you work for and develop a project for the client. Okay, maybe for a product-based company, the client and the company might be one and the same. But generally in a service model, basically 3 components. Somebody who gives the requirement. Then there is a team who builds it, and for some company you build it. Now, the power of Agile is, if you use this properly, all the 3 parties will be very happy, very satisfied with the result. Okay, so that's powerful. The second thing you need to understand, if you work really in a proper Agile manner, you will never face like burnout or tension or pressure at work. Overcommitments and late night stretches, weekend working, all that models will not apply if you really systematically implement Agile. So if that is happening, that means there is something chaotic going on in your projects, which should not be like that. So that's where today's, so it's very good for the team, very good for the clients, and very good for the company as well. Okay. Now, how it exactly happens? The point is, if you take one project, it might include developing n number of features. For example, last Friday when we connected, we spoke about one end-to-end use case, QR code generation, and then there was this full process, right, last Friday. Now, that is only one part of a feature of the full project. Now, for that feature development itself, it is going to take, let's say, 4 weeks of time for like a lot of people. Like that, there will be so many other features which needs to be developed, which constitutes one project, right? So one project is big. In that, lot of functionalities or features will be there. So let's say a full project has around 100 features or 100 functionality. Last Friday, we discussed only one functionality. Like that, many will be there. And that one functionality was itself so much big of taking maybe 3 to 4 weeks for a team size of maybe 5 to 6 people. Like that, for the full project, we want to develop around 100 functionalities. Now, automatically, dekho guys, major concerns what happens in such scenarios. Ki bhai, as a client, just think if Tausif, I am a client coming to your company. My main thing is I want good quality. Second, all my features, 100 functionalities should be ready. And I should do that as minimum cost. Matlab, I'll give you as minimum money as I can so that you deliver me these features in the less possible time. So great quality, less time and money. So basically my concerns are the technology team, you guys should deliver me all my 100 features as early as possible with as less cost as possible. Now, when this factor comes in, okay, time, cost of the project and quality, okay. So time ko yahan pe people even say like speed of delivery. So when these three factor comes in, there is a lot of chaos which goes. And before Agile, people used to now, client will say, ki bhai, I'm going to pay you, let's say only 1 lakh rupees. And in that you have to complete this so and so kind of features. And I want it in 1 month. And these were so strict timelines. Ke if people are not able to do it, the only way was work late night, work over weekend and deliver to the customers. But now that was a very big problem. People were unhappy, becoming unhealthy. That is where Agile comes in the market because a proper balance is required between all this. Okay. And Agile says ki bhai, team should not work under pressure. Why? Because it is going to be a long-term project. Okay. And even if you plan everything for 1 year and say that we can finish this 100 functionality in 1 year, there will be a lot of problems. Just know it. Even if you estimate all these 100 features for, let's say, 1 year of time, give us, let's say, 20 lakhs of amount, and we will be delivering every of this feature in 1 year. Let me tell you, while actual day-to-day development will happen, there will be a lot of problems with this. Okay, a lot of problems with this. And because of that, all the earlier models used to fail and people had a lot of problems with them. Now comes Agile. Okay? What Agile says, okay, don't deliver full project in one go. Rather, break the project into smaller time frames. For example, let's say today is 15th of May. Okay, now Agile is very beautiful. Agile doesn't wait for 1 year for anything. Agile says what you can do in the next 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Tell us only that much. Okay, what your full team, be it 5 people, 6 people, what your full team can do in this much of time, tell us only that. What features can be completed in short time frame. Okay. Tell us only that, and accordingly demo it. If we are good, take it to production. That's it. Accordingly, the client is going to give the money part. Now, what happens is, if you are giving a 1 year commitment for 100 features, And you're saying that maybe 6 people will be working on the project. Now, let's say somebody resigns or 2 people resigned, and you're taking more time to get another person. In such cases, all the projects are going to be delayed. So anyways, long-term commitment is not going to work, but something which is as small as a few weeks, it is possible to predict. You can properly plan as part of this initial, let's say, whatever time frame, we can do 3 features. So this kind of a target is pretty practical, pretty achievable. And then the team works for accomplishing. And if it goes good, it will be taken to production also. Now, this simple stuff is agile. It says, don't deliver the full project in one go. Rather, break down the project in smaller time frames. And each time frame could be 1 week to 4 weeks, not more than that. Now, different projects might follow a different thing. For majority of my time in the projects, we have applied for a 2 weeks working cycle. And this is called as sprint. Okay, S-P-R-I-N-T, sprint. So in the project, when you go, or even during interviews, the conversation will be very regular. Hey, what did you complete as part of the last sprint? What is the team working on in the current sprint? Or what are you guys planning in the next sprint? So that's the terminology. Sprint is the working window where the team is fully working on a project. As simple as that. Okay, now there is a proper diagram which you can find very nicely on internet. Let me show it to you once about end-to-end working with Agile. And after that, few checkpoints we will be finishing today. And the rest of the checkpoints we will discuss as part of tomorrow's session. And whatever we will discuss today, let's try to relate with the Friday example that we did of the QR code generation, so that we can much relate how in real world all the things will fit in together. Okay, so chalo, I am sharing you that part. So far clear, guys? Just put it in chat if you're clear with what we discussed so far. I'm going really slow and basic, okay, because there are beginners here. So if you are clear with the basic fundas, so automatically you can build on top of that. Okay, guys, so far clear? Okay, nice. Even beginners, okay, be very clear. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Chalo, now let's look at this. I'm sharing this screen. Now, this is how Agile looks like. Again, no need to, dekho guys, I'm telling you one thing. Don't be scared or afraid of anything that you see in the IT industry. Okay. Terminologies will be new always because you don't know it. You're from college or background where you have not worked with it. Terminologies might be new, concepts might be new, processes might be new, technologies might be new. You should go in with a mindset, okay, let's see what it is. Curiosity should be there. So you should not be afraid or panicked whenever you face any new thing. Rather, you should be like, okay, what exactly it is, and let's see what it is. So have that attitude, because let me tell you, every single day, new and new things will keep coming for you. Okay, now this is what it is. So have a look at this one. A simple agile way of working. Be completely bold and brave. If you don't know something, not a problem at all. Be happy with that. Let's learn it. And that's what you can find everything on internet. But I think as a one session, you can really get all these quick pointers so you can explore further. Now, let's see what exactly it says. Okay. We said it is about requirement needs to be taken to production, and it will not happen in one go. Rather, it will be done in the form of sprint. Just remember like this. Our key checkpoints: requirement, like build requirements and take to prod. Okay. Do it in the form of sprints, which is smaller work window. This is what we want to do. Smaller work window of 2 to 4 weeks, whatever. Okay. Now, the point is, in agile environment, The person who gives the requirement, it is called as product owner. That's the terminology. So people might say, okay, PO, the PO gave us this requirement. Or sometimes they even call them as the products. Product team, product guys, that's the terminology. They will say, okay, the product specified this requirement. That means the product owner has given some requirements. Okay. Now this is what in the diagram they say. A second. Yeah. So in the diagram they say the product owner is going to do his job, basically, whoever it is, collect the information from a lot of people and prepares a list of what functionality needs to be developed. That is the step number one. Okay, whatever functionality needs to be developed, this guy is going to do it first. And he's going to create, now we said 100 features are required. Total project might have 100 features. But you are saying as part of this next 1 week or 2 weeks, which features needs to be developed? It should happen based upon what is important for the business. So the technical team cannot decide ki bhai, out of this 100, I can pick whatever feature I want. Not possible. It has to be something which is valuable for the business, nothing but clients. And that is where that work is the responsibility of product owner. He creates a prioritized list of what feature is required. So maybe out of this 100 features, the product owner first comes and he says, okay, top 10 features we need to develop, and he arranges in a priority 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what it is. And this priority, so that means as a technical team, you have to take the top priority item and then plan on finishing it. You cannot pick up a lower priority and say, okay, first we will do that. No, you have to agree with the product owner. Okay, he has given a priority. Accordingly, it has to be worked because he is interacting directly with the clients, which technology team might not be even interacting with the clients. Okay, so this is what it is. Be aware of this simple funda. The product owner discusses with a lot of people, comes up with requirements, and these requirements are arranged in a priority and handed over. Okay, now guys, few important things here, even for working professionals and all the beginners as well. Know this key, the requirements should not be given to you only in words. Okay, verbal requirements will make your project's life hell. Right from beginning, all of you people should say, wherever project you go, every requirement which is provided, because as a technical team, you need to make sure the right quality is being delivered by you. So for that, you have to ensure that product owner should give these requirements in written form. Somewhere it has to be written. Okay, so requirements should be written. It cannot be verbal because people will forget. Know that people will forget. So the requirements has to be written. And generally the tool for that is Jira. Okay, or there could be some other tool like Asana is there, or Microsoft Planner, or maybe something else. So, but Jira is one of the very popular used ones, but you can see if there are any products like these two are also products which I used in my past projects. But the thing is, requirements has to be written. If it is not written, guys, your project life is going to become hell, and that is going to happen because people will forget what they said. Maybe you will misunderstand something, you will develop something else. In the end, client says, hey, we never asked for this. What is all this happening? Why is the team doing this bad work? Everything goes wrong. So you have to really request the product owner, don't just come in a call and explain as requirement, have everything written. So your way of working should be, step 1, expect them to write everything in Jira. Step number 2, ask them to get product owner should get in call with you or your team basically and explain requirement. Guys, let me tell you, if requirements are not clear, whatever you do after that, everything is going to be a mess up. Design, coding, implementation, testing, everything goes for a toss if you are not clear of what needs to be developed. That is where spend some time, ask them ki bhai, whatever you are written also, but still get in a call and explain, because understanding gap can happen. Even if now I'm trying to explain everything verbally to you, you might not really understand a few things. For example, last Friday call me somewhere like 50% samjha, 60% I got it. So there could be communication understanding gaps. For that, you should ask things to be in written and then get in a call and even explain, so that if you have questions further, you can actually speak back to them. Okay. Now, this is what is going to be the first work. First, have this thing. Next, you have to have him written and explain it to you. Now, the thing is, in IT, there are some terminologies for this process where the requirements are given to you guys, which is called as refinement meeting or grooming meeting. Okay. Refinement meeting or grooming meeting. People also call it sprint refinement or sprint grooming. These are all terminologies where product owner is going to come and explain the requirements to the technical team. Okay, this is what is going to happen. Now the thing is, what are you supposed to do as part of it? Let's say you are at any stage in your company, from junior to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever stage. Dekho, point is, the more you do, the better you will become. And as you get more senior, you have to do these things more independently. In the junior time, others will help you. Seniors will guide you, help you. But as you become more senior, so anybody having 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience, you're already trying to become more senior. But for juniors, yes, some guidance will be there. But the sooner you can learn all this, the better you're going to become. Now, what is required? I have done a simple thing, guys. I have created a checklist. Okay. Now, let me share a quick checklist. Already, this is as part of our same daily tracking sheet. I created a simple checklist for all people for ease of access called as a grooming checklist. What you all are supposed to do is simply do these activities whenever refinement is happening. Okay. And now there might be, guys, some people right now who are not working. I would like you to also work in this manner. For example, if you're doing any project development, okay, or you will be developing some features as part of, we said week 1, you have to do some feature development, try to do it like this so that you can really understand the things properly. Okay. Now, what is this checklist? Let me quickly show it. Just go through this once, everybody. Okay. Simple, it's not that complicated, but it has to be done without fail. And the more you do it, the better you will become. Okay. First, what? Now, in Jira, when the requirement is given, people might call it as terminology is ticket. Okay. So a simple term, you might hear this ticket or user story or task. This is all just called for the work. The requirement, the work which needs to be developed might be called with these other terminologies like tickets, user stories, or tasks. So don't get confused. It is all talking about the work. Now, first thing is, guys, whether you are doing it in the meeting or not, if you really want to succeed in the IT, the more you do, the better you get. So my suggestion will be, right from today onwards, whichever feature you are developing or even your friends are developing, if you want to grow faster, start even analyzing those features so that your brain will function more properly. If every week you do 2-3 times now, your logic sense automatically grows. So what are you supposed to do? First, independently, even when nobody is there, read the full requirement which is mentioned in Jira. That is what is the first thing. Line to line. Pura ka pura. Even if others have explained it to you, you read it. Next, whatever functionality is asked, try to get the understanding, okay, what exactly they want us to do. Okay, what exactly these guys want us to do. You should get that kind of a high-level idea about the project. This feature talks about all that. Now, after that, you should come up with list of functional questions. Okay. Now, what exactly these functional questions are? Let's take the example of last Friday. Okay. If those requirements of QR code generation and all of that logic is given to you, it will be given to you in the form of some Jira user story or task or ticket. Let's say you have read all that. And whatever we discussed last time, you understood it. Okay, in the web browser, somebody should launch it and then the QR code should come. And if the user takes the mobile, scans the QR code, if it is successful, automatically he gets logged in. If it is failed, he's not going to be logged in. Plus, you even understood there is a timer management logic. The code should be available only for 5 minutes. This is the requirement. If you read all the requirement in Jira, yes, you can understand it. And that's what you should do. The more you think and process, it is going to be good for you. Okay, so this is what is requirement. Let me even show it to you last time. So what we discussed, so that we don't miss it out. A second. Let's be with it, okay? Because this is what is going to happen on a day-to-day basis in your projects. So don't take it for granted. Everybody focus here. Let me share it up. This is requirements. Okay, and here it is. I'm sharing my screen. Just give a minute. We will close this session sharp by 10. Okay, even if, let's say, suppose weekly planning we are not able to touch today because we are more elaborating on these areas. So even if that state comes, but still we will be stopping the session at 10 itself and continue with the rest of the activities tomorrow. Okay, chalo. Now sharing the screen back. Focus. Okay. Now these were the features which we discussed last time. Now all of these things, whatever is there, it will be written in Jira and given to you guys, and then they will get in a call and explain it to you. Let's say both of the work is done. After that, if you want to really become good in understanding requirements, even independently, juniors should definitely do it. And all the seniors, you should already know all these things. If not, try to really master it because it takes time to understand a few things. Okay. Now, once you understood it, you have to come up with a list of questions. What are these questions? Okay. Cool. Thoda sa for coming up with questions, simple hota hai. It's not very complicated. Point is, you are already a user in a real world using, let's say, any products, right? You use Amazon, Flipkart, this, that, shopping sites and all that. So as an end user, you already expect something from the system. It's all logical, right? If I see a product on Amazon and if I click on add cart, so somewhere the cart option should be there. I can go there. I can review my feature or product, whichever I added there. I can do a payment there. If the payment is failed, it should give me an option to try something else. And if not, maybe it should successfully take me to the successful page. I should get an email or mobile notification that my purchase is done, right? Basically, you are a user in the real world and you have a logical mind how the feature should really be from an end user perspective. And guys, this is what the requirements which will be given to you in Jira is called as user story, because it will be written from the perspective of end user of your product. That is where it is called as a user story. Okay, from the user's perspective who will be using your application, the requirements will be specified. Now the thing is, after reading the requirement, if anything doesn't make sense to you, forget about technical part. Don't care about the technical part initially. Initially, try to understand functionally, are there any gaps? Okay, maybe payment has failed and we have not even dropped an email to the customer. That could be a problem. You can just raise it to the requirement. Hey, we should drop an email because that makes more sense here. So be brave, be bold, share your ideas. This is what could be the questions which will come up. Better we give an email with the details why the payment did not happen. That acts like a question. Okay. Now, the other requirement. Okay. For example, we are just trying to take some examples of question. Now, let's say if the user, we discussed yesterday, the QR code will be available on Friday. We discussed the QR code, which is available on the browser, let's say, is going to have a time capacity of 5 minutes. Okay. Now the question is, automatically it gets to mind, what will happen if after 5 minutes the user scans it? What should happen to the QR code if it is not done with the 5 minutes? If like, what should happen basically? Right? Something should change, otherwise the application will guaranteed fail. It's a natural question. And if the requirement is not specifying what should be done, you need to ask that. That becomes your list of questions. Okay, 5 minutes is the timer, but right now on the web page, I'm seeing that code, which is valid only for 5 minutes. So is that supposed to be changed after 5 minutes? Or we display the same invalid code and let the user scan the code, and then it will say, okay, the code is invalid. And then how do we refresh a new QR code? All these are natural questions which will come up. So this is how you start thinking. As a user, are there any functional gaps which you don't understand? Okay. Now let's say there are further more questions if you really dig more about it. What if the user has scanned the code, and if success has happened, then what should be the behavior? The requirement should tell you clearly. But if the code is invalid and failure has happened, then what should be happening on the UI screen? Like failure error messaging, how it should be, or should the user has an option for refreshing a new page or trying once again? Like what should be the behavior? Because anything can go wrong. Okay. Further, another question comes up. Let's say the user is trying to do something and the internet itself is failed. Okay. This could be another requirement. Okay. User is trying to scan the mobile and his internet goes off. Now, from server side, maybe the server is logged in. Now, like on the UI, should we still progress him to take inside? Because he has not done the processing, the payment has happened successfully. This could also be another question. If API call fails, I'm trying to make an API call to, let's say, anything. If it times out due to network or server did not respond, should we consider that as failed? Or otherwise the web page is just going to crash? You can understand, you're making an API call, no response coming because of whatever reason. Sometimes if the service is not available or a blip might happen of 1 second and you're not able to respond back, then what happens to this user? All these are some general questions which can come up in mind. So you have to think from the end user perspective. Are all the success cases are handled? Are negative cases handled? Oh, if the customer is confused, is he seeing all the right messaging here on the screen? Okay. Or like if timeout or like customer perspective, say, have a list of questions. And it comes only with practice. The more you do, the better you will get. But you are already, thoda sa perspective you have to change. You're already an end user of real world. So think about it from that perspective. And then try to do it. And I think just in a matter of few weeks, you will really become good in that. So this is how you guys have to move to the third step. Read it and then come up with list of functional questions. Okay. Now next comes think high level approach. How do you want to build this feature? Now guys, dekho, ek cheez. Always your thought process in the IT projects should be clarify the requirement, think high level approach, then think low level approach, then go to coding. Don't jump directly to coding. It will be becoming a mess, time waste and rework. You always have to be, am I clear with the requirement? What is the high level approach of implementation? Next, what is the low level design practice? And then comes the coding, and always do these steps like this only. Whether you know it or not, that is what you have to then learn. But you cannot just bypass it, chalo abhi coding karte, because you will create a lot of mess. And now, last time we already discussed, the high level approach is all of this, what we discussed on Friday. High level technical implementation approach. We will have one controller, UI is going to call that controller, mobile app will also call that controller. We will have another service called as QR generator service, and it is going to maybe process by itself. And then if there is a third party, we are going to talk to them. Maybe they will notify to us. Now, all of this is the high level designing or architectural designing of the application. Okay. And accordingly, I've just given a very simple checklist, even for high level design, what you're supposed to do. Okay, simple. Identify the overall system architecture and its components, which is nothing but this. So just think about how all these things could be. Even guys, you are a junior, try to think. The more you think, you will get more questions, and you can have good conversation with your seniors. Okay, can we do it like this? Can we do it like that? So guys, ask that. The more you clarify, you will become more good in the industry. Right? That's why you have to do this independently. Don't wait for somebody to spoon feed you the answers. By that way, your growth really becomes slow. And guys, all the freshers also, next time onwards, if you're developing any feature, think it like this. Do you understand requirement completely? How exactly the high level implementation should be? Never code everything in one repository or one project. Do microservice based projects. Okay, multiple small repositories, because that's how the real world happens. So understand that, learn that, try to practice that. So high level implementation is the second thing. Okay, next, consider scalability and performance requirements. For now, let's skip it, but all the juniors basically can ignore or overlook. Let the seniors take care of it right now. So as part of architecture, they will take care. But if you are interested, you can learn of how to build it, but otherwise it's fine. Next, evaluate the feasibility of the design. Nothing but whatever you're saying is practical. Requirement should be clear, functionality should be clear. Next, is there any constants or limitations on the system? Okay, the point is, if you think more about this, you might get a few things. Keep per second, how much of concurrency we can support. Next, if the third party is not responding, you are trying to, you can take care of your services, but if the third party has not responded, timed out, failed, then what the behavior should be. Now that becomes maybe some limitation of the system. So you have to even discuss these things during your requirement time. This is what you have to accordingly build the solutions. Okay, if you don't get notification, let's say the mobile is scanned. Last Friday we discussed this. The mobile is scanned, directly the request goes to the regulator, third party company, and they might notify you. Now technically a question should come, what if we don't get a notification due to network failure or their exception in processing? Anything can happen. So in such case, will the user still be like this? Will the code be inactivated? Right? Second question comes, if the code is inactivated and then these guys notify, meanwhile user has started another process. You can just think about all these things. This is where more use cases comes up in coding time. Okay, now let's understand this requirement once more. Code is displayed, the user has scanned it. Okay, the request went to this third party. Now due to some reason, exception happened or network timeout happened, something went wrong, they did not notify us, and this happens in real time. Now if they did not notify you, that means in your system the counter will go to 5 minutes. The customer is still waiting, but behind the screen it is going to fail. Now what happened? The user, now you have built a functionality. What happens after 5 minutes? So you maybe canceled that request and gave another option to the user, ki now maybe scan one more time. This is the option given. And now let's say that option is given and then the third party notifies you delayed. This happens sometimes. After 5 minutes, your request might come because they were processing a lot of things. Their heap memory was like, their load was more on them. And once the load became free, they processed and notified. But the user is already trying to attempt the second request. Then what should happen to the previous one? Then what is the latest active request of scan in the system? More and more logic starts coming like this. Yes, I understand as a junior, these things might be not practical to visualize, but the more you try to do it, the better you will become. And that's what this is, limitations, few limitations. Once we think like that, oh, this can happen, and you have to think like that, because in production, a lot of things can happen. Okay. And the more you're able to identify these cases properly, the better professional or an engineer you become. If you create only compromised code which can break in production, that's what is shabby work basically. You have to think about multiple corner cases. Oh, if this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? And accordingly, your application should try to handle those cases the best that you can do. Okay. Now, this is what it is. Another example of limitations. Okay. Next, again, is there any risk? Okay, and how to solve that risk, something, nothing but study yourself properly. Next, security. Okay, now we gave this design, but again, when the UI is calling the backend, before processing this, how are you going to take care of authorization and authentication? Next, when the mobile app is trying to call your server API for something, how are you going to take care of authentication and authorization? You cannot process every request which is coming. Understand, you have written a code which is going to be called, this browser is running in customer's browser. So I have hosted my code on AWS. The customer is right now in the local machine sitting anywhere in the world. He calls nothing but publicly opened endpoint is being called. That means if that customer can call it, even a hacker from a machine can call that. So you cannot process it straight away. So you have to think about always authentication, authorization for every incoming call in the system. Generally, Spring Security and all provides it by default, but you need to know the right ways of doing it. So important. That's what design may security is considered as one important thing. And not only this, few more things. If you call the third party API call, that also has to be happening in a secured manner. If they are making a notification to you, that also has to be done in a secured manner. So you have to make sure that all of that is done, because otherwise it will be risky to even take this code to production, because it is a compromised code. A lot of failure, a lot of money problems can happen if your project is like money related or payment related. So that's what this checklist will help you to think properly. And I have already given this checklist as part of the same reference sheet. The point is, bring this into your life. Next time onwards, even as a fresher, if you are going through it, maybe have this printout stuck into your walls and try to talk like this maybe during interviews or in your day-to-day coding. Try to see, security ka kya hone wala hai? Can this be really called? The more you think, the brain will evolve. And guys, you can very quickly then adapt. Okay, fine. Next, consider the impact of the design. Fine, create a text plan. So basically, high-level design is simply this, but as an end outcome, you come up with something like this. And that is what becomes a checklist here. Think about the high-level approach and put up a block diagram. So what we developed here is a block diagram. There could be free tools in the industry like draw.io, okay, or Lucid Chart. You can use all of that and also draw some nice diagrams. और कुछ नहीं आ रहा तो पेंट में कर लो and attach it in Jira. That is also going to work. Something, but your thought process, if you do it, try to put it into some kind of a draw system and show it. Next, while you're discussing that, if you get any technical questions, note it down so that you can discuss it with your seniors. Guys, do this behind the screen hard work. You will be able to better contribute in your meetings and other places. Okay, that's how it is going to be useful. Next, identify dependencies. What is this dependency? Other than you and your team, who all are supposed to do what in the project? Okay, for example, again, same stuff. Okay, here, DevOps team is required to open a connection from your system to talk to the third parties. Next, when the third party is talking to you, DevOps should also do the work. Next, if you're exposing new endpoints, maybe DevOps has to configure something in the internal routing here as well. So that is some DevOps dependencies out and incoming into the system. Okay. Now, let's say if the architect is not within your team, you are just a team of developers, maybe then this entire review, you would have to first get it approved with some architect who is maybe working in a shared manner. So you need to identify all these technical dependencies, which could be before you really build the system. Abhi guys, we have not even gone to the level of database. That becomes the low-level implementation. First, high-level clarity is required. Okay. Come back. Step by step jao guys. Life बहुत simple रहेगी. Things are going to be good. Identify dependencies, impact analysis, suggestions back to the product owner. So if you're getting any technical, functional questions, you can ask it. Second, once you get the technical questions, you will discuss it within the team. And if there are some things not clear, dekho guys, this is interesting. Functionally, let's say something is required. It can be achieved technically by n number of ways, but try that not to overcomplicate your technical solution. Keep it simple, easy to understand, easy to work, easy to debug. Don't complicate your technical solutions. If you're thinking that technical solution is getting too complex, you can talk back to your product owner and say, can you change the functionality something like this, so that it will become easy to implement and easy to track in a long term. And as a technical team, you can do that. Don't think whatever comes like a requirement, same thing has to be built. It's not like that. Okay, Agile says finalizing the requirement is a combined effort of the technical team and the product owner. Initially, whatever ideas product owner comes, that is only the initial thought process. If you can suggest something better, it's always open for that. Discuss it, try to develop technically elegant solutions, and then suggest it back. Product owner will be ready to even change the requirement. Identify, observe the corner cases. If that is not coming in requirement, you observe it, you suggest it, he will make the required changes. And that's how it has to be. There is no other way. Okay, fine. So this is what happens. And guys, one last step before we turn the closure for grooming and high-level designing, which is before starting any work. This is applicable for all the juniors to seniors, freshers to working people. Before taking up an item for development, estimate it. Like how much time you think it will take for development. It's very important. Okay, forget about story pointing at estimate right now. Just do a simple time estimate. Ki bhai, this work might take 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 7 days, whatever it is. Okay, but without estimation, never pick a work. I have seen even working professionals having 3 years, 4 years of experience, they don't know how much to estimate, because maybe all the seniors did it for them and they were not clear of how to really estimate. But it is a very big problem if you cannot estimate your work. So develop this art, and it comes again with practice. Okay, all the freshers also, next time onwards, any coding that you do, your small coding, POC, ask yourself a question: how much time will it take for you to complete this? And take at least 5 minutes to give an answer. Okay, 4 hours I will take to finish it, or 2 days I will take to finish it. And then try to see if you are able to achieve it in that much time. And if it is not happening, then understand why it did not happen. What were the problems? And then try to be as good in these estimations, because right from your day one, once you are in the project, requirement will be given to you and people will ask you question, tell us how much time it takes for you to develop. And if you don't know the answer, it is going to be problematic. Okay? So fine, this is what we discussed today, 2 stages, grooming and high-level requirements. And this happens before you even go to your approach of algorithms, like how you should code, your data structure designs, like using maps, list, or what, keeping the data in memory or on Redis, some kind of systems like that, or using like what should be the database structure, how should be your interfaces. Even that all belongs as part of the low-level design, the actual one step closer to implementation. Like what will be the classes where you will write code, what will be the methods, what will be the request structure, what will be the response structure, what will be the database design. Okay, all of those things, what data structures will be used, how you're going to process and optimize solution, all that becomes part of the low-level implementation. And after that, coding actually starts. Okay, and now we still have like maybe 4 minutes. We will speak something about this low level even tomorrow. But today, let me just show you one simple thing which is happening right now in the industry. And maybe as we go forward in future, it will become even more widely used. And you guys should be aware of that, because that's the future. Okay? So now the thing is sharing the screen. Okay. Now simple with ChatGPT. Okay. So this is, I've just opened a ChatGPT. Yesterday we asked a question, right? Friday. Okay, generate code, QR code. Now juniors or even seniors, they might be like, I don't know how to generate a QR code. The solution is go to internet, figure out and apply. That's how it is. Now I simply asked ChatGPT, write Java code to generate QR code. The requirement might be anything. As a software professional, you are supposed to figure out how to do it. And your first go-to feeling should be, let's go to internet to see how to do it. Your team members might also not be aware of how to process QR code. And you cannot ask them because they themselves don't know. You go to internet, trust on that.
Now I just ask a question. If I write me a Java code to generate QR code, and automatically ChatGPT gave all the code to me. It imported the libraries, Google libraries, which is actually going to do the QR code logic with proper exceptions handling, some code, okay, some logic. Now there are these kind of classes, encode, hind type, okay, created QR code writer. There is this another inbuilt class, QR code writer, which is available part of this, again, Google library. It wrote a full code of how to use this writer to encode and something, this data, take it in a, there is another class, barcode formatter, and then accordingly it's going to do it. So generate QR code, then create an image of that QR code, okay, with proper log statements. Generate a QR code, create an image of that QR code, and then save that QR code into a file. It gave the full code logic. So I don't need to even know these things. I can just go here, see it, and then I have to read it. I have to understand, because they go, putting this in the code is your responsibility. Even if ChatGPT has given wrong code, and if you're putting that in the code, you become responsible. So you need to understand everything. Maybe take this QR code writer, check on this Google library, okay, what exactly is for, read more about it before really using it in the application. And then I did it. Okay, simply aa gaya code. In this example, blah, 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 it is done. Now I said how to do it in Python. Immediately it said Python is having a library already QR code, where simple with this method you can develop it, and it is done. So I simply, same code, it gave how to write it in Python. Then I asked it simply, he refactor the Java code and make it production ready, because there he wrote everything at one place. Okay, so I said, make it production ready. I want to take it to production. Then it made some more changes in that. Okay, it created another file, QR code generator file, defined some static final things. Okay, and wrote more negative cases handling. Okay, next, defined it properly, wrote with try catches, optimized, refactored the code, created different methods for, no, it's not everything written in one single method. Multiple codes done, and now it is making it production ready, all this code. Then I simply ask it, okay, and then he is even explaining how he did. And then I asked a question, can you make this above code modular and expose with Spring Boot REST endpoints? And then it simply went down, added some dependencies. This is how your POM should be. Next, it created a different service, okay, QR code service, where it took all the code related to endpoint exposing. It opened some methods in the service layer for this purpose. Next, it created another controller, because we said it's a Spring Boot application REST controller, where it wrote another set of methods. Full method it wrote of different types of possible inputs. Okay. And finally, it said in your boot up file, you can just simply load this kind of application. Okay. Now, what I just want to say with this all stuff is slowly and steadily, the day-to-day coding will become easier. Okay. Not just ChatGPT. There are a lot of tools. Along with IDE, they have plugged in AI processing tools now. Okay, like Microsoft Cake, though visual editors are there given by Microsoft, they have plugged in AI tools along with them itself. Okay, and I think some other IDEs are also now having that kind of plugins. Okay, apart from that, there is this GitHub Copilot, which is plugged in along with other IDE paid software. But yeah, so point is, coding is going to get more simpler as we go forward, but how to use it effectively, that will need a nicely thinking brain. Otherwise, it's like big tool, but nobody is able to figure out. And guys, let me tell you, there are like some of my friends and all, they are using this. So the answers are not very concrete and ready, because you need to ask the right questions in the tool to get the right answers. So if you're not able to ask that, something abstract to itself will come. You need to really understand how to take it and convert it into your requirement. Okay, so don't think everything, the tool will take care of that. No, you need to have a thinking brain. Wrong answers might also come because we have not asked the right questions. And even for right questions, full details might not come. So, but you have to use this for speeding up your work, But in the end, you have to write the code using these AI tools, because that's going to be the future. The sooner you can habituate, that's how your coding will become easy. Your implementation part will become easy. Okay, fine. It is 10:02. Let's take the attendance. Today's session is recorded. I want you to think about whatever we discussed today, and not just think about it. I want you to go through the recording once more, make some more notes about it, because guys, ek time sunne se nothing is going to change. Right now, at least you might have got some thoughts ki, oh, aise hota hai, waise hota hai. But if you need to get value of this, watch the recording again. Okay? And guys, somebody is asking for checklist. So the checklist is as part of the same file, guys. Okay. Already as part of your day-to-day tracking sheet, I have shared this checklist. So I'll just show it to you quickly. There is a different sheet there in the same Excel which I gave to you. Now let's take the attendance and then let's close the day today. And after that, communication related members, please do a quick update for yourself. Okay, of today's task. Okay, let me come here. Guys, I'm telling you, whatever we are discussing, this is the difference between really good professionals versus those who are not able to create much impact at work. Okay, and there is clear distinction, because they don't understand, they don't put the right efforts, their brain doesn't work, they don't get ideas and logic and problem solving and analysis. And I'm telling you, it grows only with practice. Okay, there is no other way than that. So let me paste to you in chat. Okay, just a second. Send request, copy. So please guys, even for beginners, this is very important. Now let me tell, if you talk with these terminologies during interview, it is going to create far more value during your interview times, because they will be like, "Arey yaar, ye bande ko to bahut kuch aata hai." And that is a big difference, okay, between those who know and those who not. Okay, code is 6767. Just try to talk like this during your interview. Carry refinement ke cases mein, I really try to think from this perspective. Okay, what positives case can happen, negative case. I try to think from end user perspective. If you just tell like this during interview, that means you are actually good. That's it, because you're thinking about like that. Okay, and that's how it is. So design wise, just talk about it. Okay, security I always consider when I'm calling to the third party, and then know about JWT token. Thoda sa, or if you know, your answers in interview will be really very smarter. Okay. Oh, Friday ko same code tha kya? ठीक है guys, चलो continue with the same code. Thanks Srija for pointing out. Continue with the same code, it's okay. I differentiate between the dates. So whenever you mark your attendance, date comes here. But guys, okay, I'm sharing you the YouTube link once again here itself. Here is the YouTube link. Okay. Copy link, sharing it once again. Copy link. Yes, the recording is available on YouTube and it will be available as well. So this is the YouTube link. And somebody asked that Excel sheet reference, right? So already this is covered. It's part of the same Excel sheet which we do for daily habit tracking. So my goals is the section where we do the daily habit tracking. Now in that, there is a new sheet called as project checklist. As part of that, there are all these checklists available. This is all based upon my full 13 years of experience, and I feel it is going to be really changing for multiple people. You just talk like this in interview, guys, it will create a way difference between you and the rest of the people. Just terminologies changes and thought process change. Basically, it knows ke, oh, you're really smart and you know the industry. Okay. So chalo, but yeah, again, I'm pasting the same link with you as well. Is the same sheet, but I'm pasting it once more. Copy link, stop screen share, posting it in the chat. Yeah, this is the reference. Okay. And okay, after this session, guys, everybody who is doing the communication activity, please go to your tracking sheet, mark the full things. Remember last Friday when we connected, some of you have not achieved that 5 on 5 targets. ठीक है, तो really look back. If you want to improve in communication, your target should be clear and you should achieve. So think about it, write it down, and after that, do that independent recording. That is a game changer. After 90 days, you will feel proud about yourself. Okay, you did it every single day. Okay, and after that, mark your attendance. I will share the attendance link by 10:30 in our WhatsApp groups. Please do it. Your life will guaranteed change, guys. These are proven techniques. Don't take it light. Okay. So thank you everybody and have a nice peaceful thing. See you guys tomorrow. We will continue the project related journey tomorrow. Okay. So thank you all. Take care and have a nice day, everyone.